The arena pulses with anticipation. Every seat filled, every eye locked on the octagon, every breath held in expectation of the storm about to unfold. Paddy Pimblett, the Liverpool sensation, walks with the swagger of a man who knows he was born for this. His golden curls bounce with every step, a stark contrast to the cold, calculating look in his eyes. Across from him, Michael Chandler, the battle-hardened warrior with dynamite in his fists, paces like a caged animal. Experience, explosiveness, and sheer tenacity radiate from his every movement. This isn't just another fight. This is a collision of two worlds, two fighting philosophies, and two relentless wills determined to carve their names into history. The roar of the crowd swells as the cage door locks behind them. Fans aren't just here to watch a fight, they're here for a war. Paddy, the showman, the unpredictable wild card with unshakable confidence, has built a fan base as much with his brash personality as with his relentless pressure inside the cage. Chandler, the veteran, a man who has seen it all and fought through the fire, knows better than anyone that hype means nothing when the cage door shuts. Hype doesn't land punches. Hype doesn't absorb damage. And hype sure as hell doesn't win fights. A split-second pause hangs between them, the kind that only fighters understand the moment before the storm. Paddy's eyes flicker with amusement, but Chandler doesn't blink. He's seen too many promising young stars fade under the pressure of real combat. For all the talk, all the flash, all the hype surrounding Paddy, Chandler knows what really matters, who still stands when the final bell rings. The referee's voice cuts through the tension. "You ready? You ready?" The words barely leave his lips before the storm erupts. Paddy wastes no time, bouncing on the balls of his feet, his movements loose and unpredictable, like a street brawler with an assassin's precision. He feints, tests the distance, then explodes with a flying knee that whistles past Chandler's head. The crowd erupts, half in awe, half in shock. Chandler barely flinches, but in his eyes, there's a flicker of something dangerous recognition. He's been in wars with some of the best in the world. He knows when a man is dangerous, and Paddy is exactly that. Chandler's response is brutal. A lightning-fast right hand snaps Paddy's head back, followed by a thudding leg kick that echoes through the arena. The difference in raw power is immediately clear. Paddy shakes it off, a grin breaking across his face, but Chandler isn't in the mood for games. He moves forward, cutting off angles, forcing Paddy to react rather than dictate. The chess match has begun, but the pieces on this board hit like sledgehammers. The crowd is on its feet, split between chants for their favorite. Paddy thrives in this chaos. He throws a spinning elbow that barely misses, then circles out, taunting Chandler with his hands low. It's risky, but that's who Paddy is: reckless, unpredictable, and utterly fearless. But Chandler? He's a man who punishes mistakes, and Paddy just gave him an opening. In a blink, Chandler explodes forward, ducking under a looping hook and slamming Paddy to the canvas with a double-leg takedown that rattles the cage. The audience gasps. For all of Paddy's flair, for all his striking creativity, he's now in Chandler's world, a place where few survive. And now, with nowhere to run, Paddy must prove whether he is more than just hype. The canvas feels like fire beneath Paddy's back, but the real danger is the weight pressing down on him. Chandler wastes no time, his years of wrestling sharpening his instincts to a blade's edge. He tightens his grip, grinding Paddy into the mat with calculated brutality. Every attempt to shift, every muscle flexed to escape is met with a counter, a smothering pressure that makes the cage walls feel closer than they are. This isn't just control, it's a warning. But Paddy doesn't break. He twists, shifting his hips, searching for space where there is none. Chandler's right hand lifts for a strike, and that's the moment Paddy seizes. A sudden bridge, a scramble, and in a blur of motion, he snakes a leg up, going for a triangle choke. The crowd surges to its feet, roaring as Paddy's limbs tighten around Chandler's neck. It's the kind of moment that makes legends, a show of resilience against the odds. But Chandler has been here before. A roar of exertion, and Chandler lifts Paddy clean off the mat. For a split second, Paddy dangles in the air, his submission hold still locked in place. Then impact. Chandler slams him down with terrifying force, a move that would have knocked the wind from most fighters. Yet as the dust settles, Paddy is still clinging to him like a python, adjusting his grip, trying to force the choke even deeper. The tension is unbearable. Chandler's face is turning red, veins pushing against his skin. He grits his teeth, postures up, then does something unexpected. He rolls, flipping Paddy over and driving a knee to the body as he breaks free. The submission is gone, but something in the air has changed. Paddy just took Chandler's best slam and nearly ended the fight in the process. Chandler resets, his breath coming heavier now, and for the first time in the fight, there's a flicker of something new in his expression, not just respect, but caution. He knows Paddy won't go away easily. Paddy, still grinning through the sting of the slam, wipes the sweat from his brow and gestures for Chandler to bring it on. But then something shifts. The referee steps in, motioning toward the cage-side doctor. The crowd doesn't understand at first, murmurs rippling through the arena. Then the camera zooms in, catching what the ref saw: Paddy's left eye swollen in a way that shouldn't be possible in just one round. Chandler sees it too. He doesn't celebrate, doesn't rush in. He simply watches as the doctor leans in, checking the damage. Paddy nods insistently, muttering something only they can hear. He wants to keep going, but the doctor doesn't look convinced. And just like that, what started as a war of skill and grit has become something else entirely. Now, the fight isn't just about who's better. It's about whether Paddy will even be allowed to continue. The doctor's hand hovers near Paddy's swollen eye, his expression unreadable, while the crowd drowns the arena in chants and pleas. Paddy shakes his head, jaw clenched, eyes blazing. He isn't leaving like this. Chandler watches in silence, breathing deep, his hands resting on his hips. He knows how this could go. If the doctor calls it, his victory comes with an asterisk: unfinished business, a fight that ended without a definitive answer. But if they let it continue, he'll have to put Paddy away for good. Then the doctor steps back and nods. The fight is on. The energy in the arena spikes like a lightning strike. The moment the ref signals them forward, Paddy surges ahead as if the last round never happened. He throws a wild left hook, barely missing as Chandler ducks under and counters with a brutal uppercut. Paddy stumbles, but refuses to fall, his body absorbing punishment through sheer will. Every second now is a test of limits, an exchange of raw grit where skill alone isn't enough. Chandler, knowing Paddy's vision is compromised, feints right and then hammers a kick into his ribs. The sound of it echoes through the arena, but Paddy barely flinches. He grins through the pain, steps forward, and launches a spinning back fist that clips Chandler clean on the jaw. Chandler staggers just for a heartbeat, but in a fight like this, a heartbeat is everything. Seizing the moment, Paddy lunges, wrapping his arms around Chandler's waist and dragging him toward the cage. The audience roars, sensing a shift. Chandler fights to break free, driving elbows into Paddy's side, but Paddy keeps moving, keeps pressing, forcing Chandler to react on instinct rather than strategy. Then, with a sudden shift in weight, Paddy lifts, twists, and slams Chandler down with a judo throw that no one saw coming. The shock ripples through the arena. Chandler tries to scramble up, but Paddy is already moving, already sinking in a rear naked choke with the precision of a man who's drilled it 1,000 times. The seconds stretch. Chandler's fingers claw at Paddy's arm, his legs kicking against the canvas. But there's no escape. The grip is too deep, the squeeze too tight. Then, just when it seems like Chandler might fight his way out, his hand taps the mat. The arena erupts into chaos. Paddy releases the hold and leaps to his feet, arms raised, roaring to the heavens. Chandler sits up slowly, shaking his head, his chest rising and falling in deep, exhausted breaths. He looks at Paddy, and for the first time all night, he smiles. Not in defeat, but in recognition. The war is over, but the echoes of it will last forever.